If you clicked on this video, then chances are you want to buy a harp but don't know where to start. Whether you're a complete beginner or just exploring a new instrument, the lever harp has so much to offer. Let's dive in and discover why the lever harp might be the ideal choice for you. Also, stay tuned. I will be making a video on why you should start on pedal harp as well to compare the pros and cons of both. I'll start with the most obvious reason. A lever harp is significantly cheaper than a pedal harp. A pedal harp starts for at least $16,000 new for a full orchestral size. On the other hand, a lever harp can start at around $3,000 to $4,000 brand new, which is a pretty big difference compared to the pedal harp. $16,000 is a lot to drop on an instrument if you don't know if you're going to stick with it or not. So the advantage of choosing lever harp is that you can see if you like it and see how you like it without having the big commitment of all that money. Don't get me wrong, the lever harp is not cheap either. Harps are expensive in general, that's what comes with the instrument. But it's a much smaller commitment compared to $16,000, $20,000, which a lot of us might not have. If you really want to play on the pedal harp, or you plan on transitioning sooner than later, then the nice thing about starting on a lever harp is you can also rent them out. So for like $50 a month, I think that's the smallest I was able to find. You're able to, no commitment to keep it or anything, see how you like it, take a couple lessons. If this is something you really like and you want to transition, then you can transition and save more money by just renting it out and saving more money for the pedal harp. Or the nice thing about places like Virginia Harp Center is they have a rent to buy option. So you're not committed to buying the lever harp yet. So if you want to play pedal harp after, or if you want to buy the lever harp and start putting money towards it, then you can do that too. So another thing to keep in mind. Another big benefit to the lever harp is size. Because if you're younger and you want to start on a pedal harp, it's going to be a lot more intimidating because everything is so much harder to reach when you're smaller. And the nice thing about the lever harp is they have different size legs. So they can start small and get bigger as you grow and grow with you. Another big role that size plays a factor in is what kind of car you have. Because with the lever harp, you don't need an SUV. You can use almost any car to lug it around. But in order to play the pedal harp, an SUV is a big necessity. So if you don't have an SUV, van, or big car, then know that when you buy a pedal harp, you're going to need to have one of those as well. And another nice thing about starting on the lever harp, whether you're renting or just fully buying it, is you can work on your technique so that when you transition, the same exact technique applies to the pedal harp. I played lever harp for 5 years before I transitioned to the pedal harp, and I think it was nice because when I was learning how to use pedals, I didn't have to think about my technique. I developed a solid technique already so that I could just focus on learning the pedals and have a solid technique and foundations when playing the pedal harp. Like I said before, starting on a lever harp lets you see what you like or don't like, so that if you're playing the lever harp and you're like, oh, I love the Celtic sound that it has and the kind of music that I'm able to play on this, then you can continue just playing lever harp. Because at the end of the day, the lever harp and pedal harp are two different instruments and play different music and have a completely different sound. So if you're not 100% sure if you want to play a pedal harp or keep playing harp in general, then start on the lever harp and see how you like it. See if you like the music, see if you like the repertoire, and if you're like, hey, I really like orchestral or more chromatic repertoire, then transition to the pedal harp if that's what you want. But make that decision based on what you like and what you want to play at the end of the day. The lever harp has a more Celtic sound, so you can play a lot of Celtic songs that won't sound the same on a pedal harp, and that's the uniqueness of it too. So you might end up sticking with it and wanting to play the lever harp and not even transitioning, and you wouldn't know unless you played the lever harp first. Now for the more practical reasons in my opinion when it comes to technique and playing. Playing the lever harp, in my opinion, is definitely easier than playing the pedal harp on your fingers because I didn't develop any calluses when I was playing the lever harp, but when I started playing the pedal harp, I started developing calluses, and that's because there's different string materials. The nylon strings didn't really hurt my fingers so much, but when I transitioned to the gut strings on the pedal harp, they were a bit rougher on my fingers and I started developing more calluses, and I still have them obviously. And that's something you're going to have to experience regardless of if you start on lever or pedal harp, but having the right technique will definitely prevent you from getting hurt. Back to the car accessibility and portability of the lever harp. If you love performing like me, then the lever harp makes it so much easier to get started because you can just pick it up with both of your hands and put it in the car. Whereas with the pedal harp, you have to have a dolly, and just casing the harp in general is a lot more work and moving it around. So if you just want to have something you could pick up, put down, and perform, the lever harp is definitely a lot easier to pick up, put down, and just start performing. It's a lot faster to set up the lever harp, like I said before. Pick up, put it down, and start performing. Like with the pedal harp, there's a 3-part case that you have to take apart. If there's stairs, you have to take into account putting them up the stairs, where with the lever harp, you can just pick it up and take it up the stairs. You wouldn't really even need the dolly in a lot of cases. And another cheaper option is actually something called Harp E, which isn't a full-sized lever harp, but it's an electroacoustic harp. There's different packages, and one of the packages is it comes with an already built electroacoustic harp, which means it already has the pickup built in. You can instantly plug it into effects pedals and just start changing the sound of your harp completely for a lot cheaper of the price than an electric pedal harp, or even just getting an add-on to your lever harp to make your lever harp electroacoustic. And finally, this is the main reason I would advocate for you starting with a lever harp, is if you like the sound. Listen to different recordings of lever harps and pedal harps and see which sound you like better. Because the lever harp has an old Celtic sound, so you can play traditional or folk music and get a completely different sound than you're going to get on the pedal harp. So listen to recordings and see what you like. Make your choice on what harp you pick too, on what you like the sound of, because the main reason we pick an instrument is because we like the sound of it. Again, I'm going to be making another video on why you should start on the pedal harp instead, so you can get the pros and cons of each. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, and if you have any other harp questions you want answered, comment down below and I'll make a video on it.